The last horrifying moments of people killed by elephants. Elephants trample Spanish man to death. Poacher National Park in South Africa is a popular destination for tourists going on safari. South Africa's national parks attract more than 1 million visitors each year. But for one Spanish 43-year-old man, this dream adventure was to end in his death. He was on this trip with his fiancée and 2 friends in July 2024. They were looking at a group of elephants in the distance. The herd consisted of 3 adults and 3 calves. There were other tourists in cars observing this herd as well. Before any of them had left to drive to the observation areas, they were given warnings to stay in their vehicles at all times. But it seems this man was caught up in all the excitement, and he stepped out of his car and headed towards the herd. When the others shouted at him to get back in, he ignored them and moved closer towards the animals. The occupants from 2 other vehicles that were at the sighting also shouted at him to get back. He was oblivious to the danger, saying he wanted to get better photos. Among the herd was the matriarch, a fiercely protective leader. Sensing danger, she became agitated and charged at the man. Once he saw this happening, he tried his best to run to safety through the bush towards his friends, but he had realized too late what was happening and was unable to escape in time. His companions and other tourists could only look on in sheer horror. They realized that the other 2 adult elephants had followed the first one. They could see that the man could not outrun the elephants. He was overtaken by the chasing herd, who knocked him down and trampled him to death. Despite being rushed to the hospital, he died from his injuries. Once the elephants got rid of the threat to their calves, they moved away from his body and the other tourists. When his body was retrieved, most of it was crushed into the dirt. This tragic incident underscores the importance of respecting wildlife and adhering to safety guidelines in national parks. Unfortunately, such tragedies are not isolated incidents. Why these 2 friends were trampled to death by an elephant? Sabine Goossens, 57, had lived in South Africa for 10 years. She had invited one of her friends to come for a vacation. She and her friend, Wim van Greensven, 64, were at the Maramba River Lodge in Livingstone, Zambia. They were enjoying the wildlife and were taking photos of the elephants. They were taken by surprise when they realized one of the animals was getting very close to them. And then suddenly it came running at them very fast and charged at Sabine Goossens. It is unclear what happened next, but she was being attacked and trampled on. Her friend was shocked by what was happening and ran to help her. He tried to rescue Sabine from the charging elephant, but he was no match for the huge animal. So they were both trampled to death by the elephant. It is not known why this particular elephant attacked that day. Elephants are generally peaceful and intelligent animals, but there are instances where they may attack humans. Approaching them too closely, sudden movements or loud noises can startle them. Female elephants are very protective of their babies. If they believe their calves are in danger, they will become defensive and charge at the potential threat. The 79-year-old American tourist killed in Zambia. Next, we travel to the Kafue National Park in Zambia. A group of tourists were staying at the Lufupa camp, inside the largest game reserve in Africa. They had gone out for a photography tour at the time of the attack. Mrs. Gail Matson, 79, was in a vehicle with 4 other tourists and a tour guide. An elephant that had a reputation for being aggressive was nearby. When the driver saw the animal approaching them, he decided to turn around and get out of its way. But the vehicle got stuck on the road near some boulders and overgrown bush. The elephant was watching these events unfold. But then, for some unknown reason, it charged at the tourists. The driver couldn't maneuver the car out of the elephant's path. The massive animal flipped over the stationary vehicle many times. When news of the attack got back to the park's authorities, they dispatched a helicopter to the scene. 2 of the women were airlifted and transferred to a hospital. Mrs. Gail Matson was pronounced dead at the hospital. The other woman was seriously injured, but she survived. All the other occupants were hurt too, but with minor injuries. This tragedy serves as a grim reminder that even from the safety of a vehicle, humans are vulnerable to the sheer force of these animals. A poacher is trampled to death and then eaten by lions. A group of 5 men were up to no good when they entered the Kruger National Park. They had gone there to kill rhinos and steal their horns. But the poachers learned the hard way about the dangers of illegally entering protected wildlife territory. They were so focused on tracking the rhinos that they forgot about the other animals. The men got too close to an elephant herd, and one of the animals charged at them. One of the men was trampled by the elephant. The other men ran to safety. They informed the man's family what had happened the next day. The family then went to the rangers to get help. But the search party took 2 days for them to find his body. Eventually, they found a human skull and a pair of trousers. They reported that it was obvious that a group of lions had eaten most of him. The other men were eventually arrested for poaching. Elephants rarely attack without cause. They are incredibly intelligent and social animals. They have strong family bonds, survival instincts, and are naturally defensive of their young. When they feel threatened, they will act to protect themselves and their herd. These protective instincts are why national parks repeatedly stress the importance of keeping a safe distance and never leaving designated vehicles. Most incidents stem from threats to their calves, intrusions into their space, or the stress caused by human activities around them. This tension has led to increasing numbers of tragic encounters. While elephants are capable of incredible compassion and intelligence, they are not to be underestimated. Respecting their space and understanding their behavior is very important, not only for our safety, but for the preservation of these magnificent creatures. If you found this video insightful, make sure to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.